We don't need it. So that was moved by Councillor Core and seconded by Councillor Zeppel. That was carried. Thank you. Okay, item 15, decision reports. So item 15.1, the council resolution register. Take it as read. Are there any questions on this? Okay, is there a mover? Councillor Allenson, seconded by Councillor Core. All those in favour? That's carried. Item 15.2, the 2026 SALA rebate. Leanna, do you have anything to add to this report? No? Okay. Are there questions regarding this, or would we like to suspend standing orders for a discussion on it? Is there a show of hands for suspension of standing orders? Yep, okay. So at 7:40 we will suspend standing orders. I think, was that Councillor Trotter or Vanstone had their hand up?
Oh, we both had
There you go.
Yeah.
You go first, Tony. You're always more entertaining than me.
Yes, well, as I said last time this was raised, I thought the display at the last sale event was so bad we shouldn't have anything to do with it again. I'm yet to be convinced otherwise.
Councillor Trotter?
I feel that supporting our local artists is important. However, from what I'm reading of this report, and I guess I asked the question whether they are local artists, and I would prefer, I mean, I know one of our recipients from the Australia Day Awards was a local artist, so I'm happy to support someone like that, but I just don't see the value to our township and our ratepayers if it's not really benefiting the entire community. So if we're casting our net further out to rebate fees, I'm not sure that that's what I believe that this should be about.
Anyone else want to enter the discussion? Councillor Williams?
Thank you, Mayor Jones. I don't necessarily disagree with the two speakers previously. However, I think bringing everything into one location instead of having them spread out around the township could well make it an event. So I would probably be in favour of supporting the recommendation that's there, but perhaps adding to it that we receive a report on its success afterwards, because if we find that we were to bring it all in-house and we were still getting just everyone from outside of the township and it wasn't that successful, I would be completely supportive of dropping it next year. But I just think if we've had them all in different locations around the place...
so I think that's something different. So that's the Walkerville Comes Alive event. This is dealing with the town hall and renting the artists to use the space.
I'm with you because I was going to ask.
Yeah, sorry, that's my fault. Yeah. I've misunderstood. I was thinking that was sales.
No, I take that. I want to add, if I can, I want to add to that. If we're going to be supporting, because I had the same thought as Councillor Williams, if we're going to be supporting something like this, I'd rather give this a go and that be the only thing, and we don't go ahead with the other Walkerville Comes Alive event, because I just think that was a total waste of time. Like this, at least if it's, it might not be great. I understand what Councillor Vanson was saying, but if this was going to be the one thing we do for Sala and we don't go ahead with the other thing, I think that would almost be better, because the other, at least because you've got all the artwork displayed in something, you can create an event around it, and that's it. And then Sala's done in one location, because I think the other Walkerville Comes Alive thing, the amount of people I spoke to, oh, you're the first person I've seen in half an hour at the different locations, that is, and I can't imagine that event was cheap to run either. So I just, put it this way, I wouldn't want to be supporting both. I don't think we're going to see value for money.
Can I ask a question, Rihanna? What's the status with the Walkerville Comes Alive? Is that in the next budget or is it in this budget?
Through the chair, yes, it's in this budget. Both
in this financial year's budget.
We've already done it this year, so it'd be August, would be next financial year. Both SALA events come from the same budget though.
That's what I thought.
So the Walkerville Comes Alive won't go ahead unless it's approved in the budget for FY26.
What was the cost of it last year? If I could, we're suspended, haven't we?
Yeah.
What was the cost of the event last year for Walkerville Comes Alive? Do you know?
I think our budget's about 9,000.
16, total.
Oh, 16.
Total budget for this one is
And
16.
we do this as well. What was it saying the total would be?
4,000.
4,300, so 20. I'd rather do 4,300 for something like this and just see if we can organise a small event around it and cut the other 16. But that's just my thought. I mean, it'll be discussed in the budget. But
I just wanted, I guess I'd like to know more about the rebating of the 30 registration
Yes.
and the individuals that we're rebating. Look, the town hall, I think, go your hardest and have the town hall if that's what you want to do for the art pieces, and I'm all for that. But I guess I'm conscious of if we're rebating these fees, and then I look at previously we've denied community grants and things like that. Are they our community? So if we're focusing on our community and we're rebating fees for registration, is that
Well, I would just like to say that all of the artists that went to Town Hall last year, none of them were from Walkerville.
we shouldn't be rebating.
And I just found it embarrassing.
and that's what I'm trying to say. Look, I don't mind anyone from any community using the town hall and bringing people bringing to our community. I just have an issue with like rebating registration fees for people outside our council area.
Well, we don't offer community grants anymore for one.
And we don't offer community grants, and so our own community is missing out, and we're rebating other communities. I'll stop.
But that's the same as inspired by art and volunteering and not local.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. They're not local, are they?
There's 26 artists. I did ask if there's any Walkerville residents in that group. So far, no.
Yeah, I'm with you, Liz. Because we could even put a couple of $1,000s towards, even if you, forgetting the other Walkerville Comes Alive event, if you did something like this and you put a couple of $1,000s towards promotions and created a Sala event, that kills off the Walkerville Comes Alive, that kills off the rebate issue, and you create a little event, there's a couple of thousand instead of 20,000.
Or even, like I said, we've got an artist that's won a community award, and I just look at that, and he does street art, and it's...
I mean, he's not actually from Walkerville.
No, he's not from Walkerville. He's from St Peters, but I look at what he does in our community for free. I know he gets grants and things like that, but I'd like to be able to, if this event, and we, like you mentioned, teases out other people in the community who feel like their art can be displayed in a community event, that'd be really nice to see more of our community.
Councillor Williams?
Thank you. I was just wondering whether it's something, and the CEO may be able to advise us on this as well, whether it's something that we could also get Rotary involved in, given that they do their art show. They may possibly have some ideas around an event that they may manage or run themselves, which once again takes some onus off of administration. So just a thought.
Yeah, I doubt Rotary would, because they struggle with their own art show, but it's possible.
And we contribute to the art show anyway.
I suspect they struggle with some of their activities, attending some of their meetings. I think the Walkerville committee actually helped them with the art show because they were running short of numbers. So while you could put it to them, I think certainly attending some of their regular attendance of their meetings where there's only 5 or 6 people there, I think they may struggle.
I was the runner for their painting sales at the last art show.
And just, what's the industry standard for this? What are the other councils doing? Is this a Walkerville only thing? Is there any...
I think Sala sends out an expression of interest to all of the councils, like looking for...
And what about the rebates? Is that the only thing we do? Or?
It's certainly encourage.
Not all.
It does get that dual objective. While we can't get Walkerville residents to necessarily participate or show their work in it, we're also providing opportunity for Walkerville residents to actually attend an event and attend a function and to try and activate Walkerville more. So while in the ideal world you'd be able to do both, but
People didn't attend.
I think
last
no one
year.
attended.
Yeah.
But even if they do, I'd rather see the money go to creating an event, not rate rebate. I'd rather it goes, yes, have the town hall, but we'd spend a couple of K instead of 20K on a central event and try and encourage people. I think that would be better value, but that's my opinion.
Okay, does anyone who hasn't spoken have any views on this they want to add? Because then I think we need to someone needs to put a motion on the table if it's not the resolution that's been recommended.
Happy to try it.
Tony?
Can't wait.
I want to kill it off. I move we take no action in relation to the Sala 2026 event.
Rate or rebate. Right?
It's nothing at all. We don't do anything. Don't give them any money.
And it kills off, you mean killing off the Walkerville Comes Alive as well in one hit?
Well, we're only talking about Sala here.
Yeah, don't you can bring another
Okay,
event.
cool.
The Sala rebate.
Comes Alive is not.
That's what I mean. Walkerville Comes Alive is
We
Sala.
cover that though.
No, this,
So this is, I think, the no action into relation to the 26 Sala
Rebate, that's why I think do
Well,
it.
I'm in the whole event. I don't want to have it here.
Right, so the town hall hiring and the rebates.
you don't want to give them the town hall.
They can hire it if they want it.
Okay, I think the reasoning behind Councillor Vanstone's motion is clear. If administration has any questions, I'm happy to clarify it. Is there a seconder? Councillor Ripp, thank you. Yeah, Councillor Nicky.
How often does the town hall get hired out?
Quite a lot, but I don't know the details. Andrew?
During summer or?
Fairly extensive. I couldn't give a.
I don't know the exact number, but we can take it on notice and
Oh, I was just curious, I mean, if you don't have to give me exact numbers, but like, are there weekends where it's not being hired, you know? Like, is it just?
yeah, there are
vacant?
weekends where it's through the chair. There are weekends when it is vacant and no one is hiring it.
Yeah, I'm all about not spending money, but if we've got an asset just sitting there and it's not making money, I'm happy to lend it out.
So we do have regular hirers.
Yeah.
There's also, there's like security guard fees and
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and there was a
Friday
catering
group
event
and-
last year as well, so council incurred money for that.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't want to contribute anything.
Yeah.
I was just saying they could
Yeah.
borrow the room for a night and they can pay all other expenses. They were interested in having a venue, but look, that's all right. Like, I'm generally with not spending money if we're not getting any value out of it, but again, if we just had an asset sitting there free, I was kind of whatever trying to, because there are, you know, some members who do enjoy the arts.
Can I just ask a question if I can?
Okay, I think because we've got a motion moved now, so we're back into meeting procedures. So, do you have a question?
Yeah, question, yes. Would the administration take this motion that council takes no action, but that's up to the government if the artist were to come with a hiring request, that could be then further review, because we're just saying with this motion that we don't want to spend any money or take action. I just want to see how the administration would view the motion.
That's how I would view the motion, is we're not going to actively coordinate or fund a Sala event this year. If someone wishes to hire it, they can hire it as any other hirer could hire it. Is the way I interpret
that's
the
how we're
discussion.
doing it as well.
Okay. Anyone else like to speak for or against or a question?
Just a question or a comment. I've just had a look on the Sala website and they actually list the councils that have previously offered the Sala rebates, and that's 17. So it's not a lot of councils out of how many we've got
68
in South Australia.
Okay, that's not a question.
That's just a
Councillor
comment.
Williams?
I just had a question similar to Councillor Ripp to the CEO. Would you be able to give us a rough guesstimate of what the cost to council would be should we adopt just 0.1 rather than 0.2? I know that's putting you on the spot, but
Or 10 days of fee hire for the town hall.
And security.
well, I mean, I guess it
Well,
may
it would only
not.
be through opening hours of the council. It wouldn't be.
Yeah, I was thinking more so rather than what it's let out for on a daily rate, what our other costs would be, which would generally be staffing, and if you have to have security or anything like that. Just, I mean, I'm not not going to hold you to it. Just
May I?
Yeah.
Through the chair, during, if it's about that, is that about the hiring through for the 10 days for the group?
yeah, if we were to only do point 1 in the recommendation rather than point 2. So it's just the hiring of the hall for the 10 days, whether it would be hired all of those 10 days and whether we have to have staff monitoring it and
No, so it'd be
security
during business hours only. They would have a volunteer here in the town hall the whole time. Council, in terms of what we would lose, is the regular program. So Wiggle Bubble would be on in those 2 weeks or 10 days. And no other hirers would be able to hire during those 2 weeks.
Are any of those other programs able to be housed somewhere else within the council
Potentially.
or the W during that period of time?
Wiggle Bubble we've had in the library before. The other one, the exercise program, which is a regular Monday event, goes up into 18.55, and there might be one other regular one, which is a library one as well.
So
What about
quite
the
possibly
ukuleles?
no other real
Yeah.
cost.
Yeah.
Quite possibly no other real cost other than it not being available.
Lots of program.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a moved motion. I'm going to put it to the vote. All those in favour? That. Anyone against? Okay, that's carried. Okay, item 15.3, the parking permit policy for consultation. We have the policy marked up there. James or Andrew, anything to add?
Through the chair, I guess this is a small change, I guess, in the parking policy around there's the risk of high density developments through Walkerville, and ensuring local residents have priority for on-street parking permits where needed, and we've just tidied up a couple of small sections around eligibility. But yeah, just looking to release for consultation and then bring a report back with the results and any other changes in April.
So I just want to draw everyone's attention to 3.2.1.1, which is a change that says parking permits will only be provided to those residents that have parking that is listed as permit exempt or permit zone. So as opposed to just timed parking on their street. So that's obviously a change. I asked the CEO today that I would like to do an audit that comes back to council at the end, at the point that we're coming to adopt this policy, to make sure that there are no unintended consequences. Because if there are people that currently have permits in timed zones that will no longer be eligible under this policy, given it will only apply to permit parking zones, we need to deal with that, whether it's a change in their street parking arrangements, or they have to be told they no longer have the entitlement to a permit, which I don't think is the right thing. So that's what I would like to come back when we come to adopt it. The other one here, 3.4.3.1, I'm just not sure about the terminology in this, because it talks about parking vouchers won't be issued to high density residential developments, but high density residential developments don't receive the parking vouchers. It's the residents of those developments that receive the vouchers. So I think it should be saying will not be issued to residents of high density residential developments. So that's, I did try and explain that before, but obviously that one got lost in translation, so that's the change. So I'd like to add those to the council resolution, which we'll get to in a minute, but does anyone else have any questions or comments on this?
Just a question for clarity, it's built after 21st of April, well, like, what's the definition of built? Because, the basement's being constructed now, but that's not built.
Completed.
Yeah,
correct.
that's a good question.
Completed build.
Completed.
Oh, that is a good question.
Yeah, because I was left in a quandary there about, are we leaving ourselves open for people going, it already had development approval?
Yeah,
So this is talking about being, are we talking?
completed after, I think it has to.
I think that, or that's what I assume the intention is, but it doesn't read that way currently. Because we try and make it so that, it's finished at the end of 2027, well, this policy would have been in place for more than a year, 18 months already.
Yeah,
So then there's no wriggle room. Because somebody who may have, and this would be the case right now, who have put down a deposit for units in there, that they've already done that prior to this policy, where does it leave then?
so do you think if we just change the word, so from residential developments built after April 21 to change it to residential developments completed after April 21?
I think that then makes it really clear because, you can't argue on any front that it's completed at the moment.
Yeah.
You could say occupied.
I was thinking that too.
Oh.
Yeah. And occupied.
Well, you've got to have a permit for occupancy before you can move into a property, whether that gets mentioned. Because that's a legal standing document then.
Both. There used to be certificates of occupancy, but I haven't practiced in that area for so long, I don't know.
Yeah, there still is. Yes, there still are certificates of
Completed
occupancy.
and or occupied?
Well,
Because just with like landscaping, you can. Because it's not all about what you're just talking about high density development, or are you talking about
This is just
high density? Sorry.
So just for clarity, a certificate of occupancy in South Australia is a mandatory document confirming a new or renovated building, specifically Class 1As, is safe, habitable and complies with approved plans and building rules. So that if they've got a certificate of occupancy, then you can move in. Up till then you can't.
Okay, so just have the word occupied, not completed.
I think that probably makes it. We've only got a window of time where this is going to be a problem anyway. So anything that starts after this policy is not an issue in any way, shape or form. So.
Okay, any other questions?
yeah, 3.4.3.3 is typically 4 stories. I don't know who drafted that. That's a bit quaint, right? Do we mean 4 stories or greater, or do we mean 3 stories, or what do we mean? It's ambiguous the way it reads.
James, would you like to answer that question?
Through the chair, I guess, 4 stories or greater. But that example could be taken out if 4 stories isn't. There's a measurement in 3.4.3.2 which talks about sort of dwellings per square metres, which is a bit clearer.
Because this then limits us to really anything.
Yeah, technically 3.4.3.3 could be removed.
Yeah, well, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole section, that's not adding anything to it. Actually, any confusion.
Okay, any other questions or comments on this? Okay, so we've got the following amendments. So to 3.4.3.1.
Say that one again, sorry.
3.4.3.1.
Thanks.
Insert the words residents of before the words high density. That's the first one. Change the word built. This is in 3.4.3.1 as well.
Yeah.
To occupied. And delete 3.4.3.3.
3.4.3.3.
Yeah. And then, yeah, council will complete an order on currently issued parking permits and provide a report at the time of bringing the policy back for adoption. Okay, does that capture our discussion? Anything else? Okay, is there a mover? Councillor Zeppel, thank you. That's seconded by Councillor Core. All those in favour? That's carried. Okay, 15.4 Walkerville Oval Football Netting. I'm just going to put my hands up there for a suspension of standing orders. Thank you. So at 8:05 we'll suspend standing orders and we can open this one for discussion. Who wants to start?
Just a left field question with the netting. Does it need to go the whole way down to the grass?
James?
Through the chair, yes.
Okay, anything else? Any other discussion?
I'm happy to say my initial thoughts, and because obviously we're going to have varying views, I suspect, around the table. I see the greater need at the northern end. We've got to protect the bowling club, potentially the car park, and particularly Smith Street with the close proximity. I don't see, and I could be, please jump in, I don't necessarily see the need for the other end, but if look, it was to be done at both fine, but my preference would be this stage. I'm open to debate, sort of hearing other views, but I would, my initial thought is to say yes to the northern end and no to the southern.
So the bowling club end?
Bowling club end, yes, with the car park. I mean, people can turn around and say, oh yeah, if you park there, well, that's bad, like you park at your own risk, but I think we also know the car park is an issue, and if I think by putting the netting at that end, we're at least trying to protect the vehicles where we know it's going to be a problem. Just to sort of sit there and go, oh well, I don't think it's a good outcome. Whereas I think the southern end, around the sense of being particularly, or residents raising concern, particularly at that end as well. But then I would say the more immediate need in my thought is the northern end anyway. So I'm happy to say yes to northern and no to southern, but I'm just wanting to say that, just put that on the table to start the conversation.
Yeah, I think we should take notice of the residents' objections at the southern end. Yeah. They've got to live with it. So.
Yeah, and also in my eyes, immediate need is the northern and not necessarily the southern. But
Councillor Williams.
I had a couple of questions and comments. One was in the report. It had said that 2 residents at the northern end expressed support for the netting, but it didn't say how many at the northern end objected. So I'm just interested to know how many at the northern end objected, given that the reference in the report was how many had objected at the southern end. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested in that, but I'm also interested in the survey didn't explain to people that that half the cost was going to be borne by the Walkerville Oval Precinct Fund. So if people had concerns about the cost, that may have waylaid their fears or concerns about the actual cost. And when you look at the southern end, and so I'm leaning to supporting both, because when you look at the southern end as well, if you look at the netting that will stretch from somewhere near where that shed is, near the tennis courts, across to probably not far past that big tree that's down at that end, who is actually going to be looking at it? Because the house on the corner of Clark Street and Warwick Street has a brush fence that goes up to head height, and I think the house on the other side has got a lot of foliage and everything in the front yard, so they also wouldn't see it. So who is actually seeing it? Which is another question. I guess in the report I can probably give us a little bit better idea by looking at that and seeing that probably, as I said, number 24 has a brush fence that goes up very high, and the 24 Warwick Street, that is, and there is that big tree down that end that will cover a lot of it. So that's my question. I guess anyone that's going up probably 20 and 22, maybe, anyone going further up the street from that simply won't be looking at it. And it's the same. It's the same for me down at number 37 or 35 or 33 on Smith Street, going all the way up to Margaret Street. In all honesty, it's only the people probably on the corner of the Muse that may be affected. But once again, a lot of it will be hidden by the gum trees that are there. So I'm leaning towards supporting both, because at this point in time, if it's going to cost $40,000, we get $20,000 of that back. As the report said, we also get another $5,000 of that back. Where if we do one end, I'm guessing on the sizes, that it's not going to be 20 grand at one end and 20 grand at the other. It might be 24 at the northern end and 16 at the southern end. I don't know how that works out. 22, 18, however that works out. If we would only do one end and then decide after the grant money has gone back to the government that we go, hell, it is an issue down there. We should put. We're probably going to have to revisit this and put them up. It's going to cost us the same. It will cost us the same, possibly more, than what it's going to cost us if we just do the whole lot straight away while we can use all of the funding. So that's the reason I'm leaning toward supporting both.
I've got a question. Has the sports club provided any data to support the fact that balls go out onto the road? And any claims they've received?
Not that I'm aware of.
Any injuries?
Rather than witnessing it myself.
Retained?
Oh, certainly more at the
Smith Street.
at Smith Street. Most definitely more at Smith Street.
Volume of traffic.
Yeah, greater volume of traffic, more cars. I've seen footballs hit the windscreen of a lot of cars and hit buses, and the thing that you're concerned about that is someone swerves.
Oh, 100%.
And it's also for the safety of spectators at either end, people walking along the street. It's a safety issue as well. I mean, if you're walking up Smith Street and a ball hits you in the back of the head, you're probably not going to be that happy. I haven't ever seen that happen.
But the other thing with the realignment of the goals is we run the risk, as much as I'm very supportive of it, you run the risk of more balls and going towards Smith Street.
Where have we landed with the realignment of the goals?
Well, it's only 2.5 metres.
Has that been approved?
Yes, at the January meeting.
Yeah.
I probably am similar to, I get what we're saying about the grant, and you know I'm all for saving funds, but I think I'm leaning towards only having it at the Smith Street end, because I believe that's the heavy trafficked area. I think that's, if a child or a ball, chasing a ball out onto the road, I think that's really important to cover that side of it. The Warwick Street side, I personally would hate to live in that street and look out and see that there. I just wouldn't be impressed if it was my home. So I believe we're here for the residents, and if the residents aren't happy with it, I think that's probably where I land. So from that end.
Thank you, Councillor Trotter. Did we have an answer to Councillor Williams' question about how many residents on the northern end objected?
Just going through that now. So the northern end would include properties, just looking at the map, on Smith Street and then the Muse. So there were 20, I can list the ones I've got here. So 26 Smith Street is on the northern side, which is sort of more to the side of the oval. They opposed it. The 5 of the Muse opposed the nets at the northern end, at both ends. And 11 Smith Street. Just trying to find where that one is.
That was in the email we sent out for the workshop last Monday, James. I think that Ross had the breakdown of who voted. We just couldn't put that in this report due to privacy reasons.
Yes.
You've just got that one handy.
Well, it's
It's just too close.
So look, out of the 3 that I'm looking at that have responded, on the northern side, they were opposed, but looking on balance, the majority of the opposition was from Warren Street, based off of that map from the workshop.
Yeah, looking at the map, there was only one on Smith Street, was at 26, that objected to it. There was none that appeared to be on the eastern side of Smith Street, submitted either way.
Sorry, the Muse had an objection.
He had one objection. Just looking through the data.
I think 26 also had an issue with the scoreboard too.
Yes, and the toilet when that was.
And the toilet. Anything.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Because otherwise we will need someone to move something.
I'd make another comment, just that blowing this up and looking, I'm not sure if everyone's actually seen goalpost netting and looked at it from behind it, from a distance or across the road, but when you, as I said about 24 having the high fence, realistically, at the southern end, the netting has big trees in front of it, and I just really, I just fail to see it. You know, it'd be like me complaining about how the W looks when you live next door to it. I mean, it's just there. It's like I don't know what the issue is with it, to be perfectly honest. I find it bewildering.
Okay, if there's...
Can I start with some proposed motion?
Yep, you want to move something? Go for it.
So I will go for it and give it a bash. I would move item 1 as it's written, item 2 that we approve the northern end, and the rest of it's fine, and item 3 that we reject the southern end. I'll second it.
Thank you. So that has been moved by Councillor Ripp, seconded by Councillor Vanstone. We're back in meeting procedures. Does anyone wish to speak for or against?
I'll speak just as a mover very briefly. The reason for this, obviously we've talked about it in the suspension of standing order, but I firmly believe at the northern end we have a duty of care to the bowling club, people in the car park and the Smith Street. I think to not do the northern end, as the very least, I think wouldn't sit well with me. I do think with the opening of the bowling club, the more people that are going to be there, the fact that it's not just people parking there for football, that car park is going to have a lot of activity. With the realignment of the goals, which I absolutely support, even though it's only 2.5 metres, there is also at a risk that more balls will go towards Smith Street. So I think this measure we're trying to take is just us doing the right thing to try and limit the impact of that. I'm obviously supportive of the residents' views at the southern end and don't see as much of a need there. But time will tell, and I do understand if we have to revisit it, yes, that comes with that cost, but I think this is the best of the situation that we can make at the moment, so I'm happy to move it as is.
Councillor Vanstone, do you wish to talk? Anyone else for to discuss or against? Yep.
I'll obviously I'd like to speak against it. I see an opportunity where you can get it all done at one time. Other clubs, when they've put netting up, they've put them up at both ends, and I see this being the Southern Expressway before it went 2 ways. So I just think, why would you do it at one end and not the other? It just seems ridiculous to me when it could cost us more. There's not really anyone looking at it. But just, I guess some are just not happy. Like 26 and see it side on.
Anyone else wish to speak for or against? Going to put it to the vote. All those in favour? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against. That is carried.
I like to call it a division as well.
Division. All those in favour?
Can I just check?
Stand up.
I'm standing for in favour.
Stand up for in favour.
In favour of the resolution. You can. vote
You can
differently.
change your vote if you
Correct.
wish to. This will be recorded in the minutes. We vote in favour of this.
What? Jesus, if we change your name, Councillor, what's that?
I made one bad decision.
Thank you.
Is that
Down
the
again.
first one we've had?
We've had other divisions.
Oh, no, you don't need to. No.
I don't either, James.
Pity it didn't go 4-4.
Okay, item 15.5, draft disability access and inclusion plan 2026 to 2030. Yasmin or Andrew, anything to add to this?
Yeah, I've actually started to reach out to some groups that we're planning on targeting. We've had some really good responses so far. So within the consultation period, I think it's about 6 weeks at the moment, people have already come back to us and said that they're keen to participate. So that's included a couple of NDIS providers, a school, an individual who's gotten in contact with us. We've gone to Chatty Cafe and the Uniting Church as well. So they've all come back to us and said that they're keen to participate. So we're still waiting on quite a few for us as well, but it seems like it's going to be a good turnout.
Any questions on the report? Okay, is there a mover? Thank you, Councillor Zeffel. That's seconded by Councillor Trotter. All those in favour? That is carried. Okay, item 15.6, Error Water Chair Appointment. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but Andrew, is there anything to add?
No, I'll take it as read.
Any questions on this report? Okay,
I'll move it.
Thank you, Councillor Vanstone, seconder. Councillor Zeppel, all those in favour? That's carried. Item 15.7, Major Projects Status Report. Again, probably self-explanatory, but James or Andrew, is there anything to add?
I know this will be a regular report that we put in each month to show how we're progressing against the timeframes we agreed to last month.
Any questions on this report? Okay, or is there anyone to move it? Councillor Zeppel, thank you. I think it was Councillor Vanstone who seconded. So all those in favour? That's carried. Okay, so that brings us to 15.8, 2026 National General Assembly, Canberra. Jay, would you like to assume the chair? We just need a resolution for that. So thank you, Councillor Trotter, seconded by Councillor Vanstone. All those in favour? That is carried. And Councillor Ricknar will let
And read declaring material conflict.
Yep.
Very noted, thanks.
Yeah, mine.
Okay. Decision report item number 15.8, noting that the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor have left the room, flagging conflicts. Anything further to this report, CEO?
No, I have nothing further.
No, nothing further. Okay, the recommendation to approve the attendance of the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and the CEO at the Alga National General Assembly from 23 to 25 June 2026. Could I get a mover? Councillor Williams and a seconder. Councillor Zapp. Those in favour? Those against? That's carried. That's all.
That's it for me.
Oh, it's just,
Very efficient. Very efficient, couldn't believe it. I barely sat down.
you didn't even let us get to say anything.
Okay, item 15.9, Councillor Anthony Vanstone, leave of absence request. Look,
Everyone's excited. We're coming on holiday with you.
We'll go with Councillor Core to remove that one. Deputy Mayor seconded. All those in favour? That's carried. Tony, I'm assuming you're in favour of your own leave of absence.
Behave yourself in this.
Item 15.10, CEO annual leave request. Again, self-explanatory. Is there a mover for this? Thank you, Councillor Core, seconded by Councillor Trotter. All those in favour? Carried. Okay, item 16, information reports. 16.1, Walkerville Bowling and Community Club premises use report for quarter ending December 2025. Any questions on this report? Councillor Trotter.
I'm very happy with seeing the numbers and the figures, but I actually thought we were seeing more about profitability of like a turnover type thing. I thought we were seeing not just the usage. Was I wrong in?
Is it at the end of the financial year we're going to get the audited financial statements?
Okay, yeah, is that what, I just wanted to seek clarity on that. Because my understanding is this report shows the attendance and the income from the rental only, is that correct? Of the occupancy of the...
It does. They've also put what they do for both internal and in bowling events as well as external under their lease. After their AGM, they do have to provide the full financials, but of course this only has the income side and not the resulting expenditure side.
Yeah, well this only has the higher cost. It doesn't actually have the turnover.
Sales or other things. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah. That's just confirming that it's not the total amount they've received as income in that period of time, because it doesn't show the bar or any other works. Yeah.
Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. I sort of had a similar question in the report, page 217, the 26.1.1.4, and I know we have reported in revenue derived from such use. My take on that was the revenue derived wasn't just the renting out or leasing out, it was also going to be bar profits. So the table doesn't really, or report, give a true indication of the income. It's great to see that they're doing well. The whole idea, I believe the intention was knowing exactly just how profitable it was after a period of time, and why we'd gone for the shorter lease, so that we could see in all fairness, and obviously I want them to do well out of it, and that should be a massive consideration when we get to the next lease, because they need to be encouraged to continue operating like that. But then at the same time, if we've put several $1 million into the building, there also has to be some fairness about some of those costs coming back to council as well, because we've got, as we all know, we're paying interest on the costs.
So Mohammed, would you like to respond?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So this is basically the quarterly reporting, which talks about the premises use specifically. Certainly take the point, and that will come as the annual report, which will be their annual financial statement. So that will tell all sorts of income streams, where they're getting income from, bar, hire of premises, memberships, and everything. It will also list all the expenses, like that they incur, the maintenance, the inspections, and everything that they need to do. So that will be a holistic report. They have their year ending from memory March, so that is happening in the next month or so. And then in April, correct me, Councillor Trotter, if I'm wrong, but they have their AGM where they will present that information, and then that will come to council as well. This is purely looking at the lease, this is purely the premises use report, because we wanted to make sure in the lease document that it is not only for the club members, but it is available for the wider community as well, which was objective, like Walkerville Bowling and Community Club. So hence, that's why this report is here. But this is the first time that we have reported on it. When I reached out to the club, they basically use a diary and they write who hires it, how many people. So they asked me to provide them an Excel template where they can start populating the data in, and I gave them a template where they populated the data from their diary into that. But as I said again, this is the first report. If council wishes to see more information, certainly I can add that to the template that I prepared for them, and I can reach out to them, and we can get other information as well. But again, that full information that will come through in the form of annual financial statement.
But I think what Councillor Trotter and Councillor Williams has said is right, and I probably preempted it, but the lease does say on a quarterly basis, revenue derived from such use. So they actually do, that's their obligation under the lease.
Yes.
Quarterly to provide all of that information, including bar sales and whatever else.
They're just an estimated value. My understanding under that, that's why I raised it, because the lease does stipulate that you need to have almost the turnover.
Yeah.
And that's why I figured it can only be an estimate. Obviously, they're not going to do their financials quarterly, but depending on how that's
yearly,
done.
you get the audit.
Yeah, and then you get the full audited. So, but I just thought if we were abiding by the lease agreement, we would probably need to do that.
Through the chair, I'm happy to reach out and ask for that additional information. Even when I first reached out to them, Poly Club was helpful. They never shied off or backed off or anything.
They'll be happy to share the information.
I'm sure they will be happy to provide that other information.
I just don't want the lease agreement to be, not
Yeah, you need to start off with that. So do you want to add something to the resolution to deal with that?
Liz, sorry, can I just mention something to you as well, that if you're going to add something to that, whether it may be based around turnover, because it would be difficult to get an idea of profitability, because obviously we're looking at income side, but there's also costs. So I know how much the green and the keeping of the greens cost.
Even from a bar point of view, you still have to buy stock, don't you, as we've seen. So you have to offset so you're right, it has to be a P&L.
Yeah, there is a given rate though on turnover, what your profit margin should be before expenses.
Yeah.
Okay, so Councillor Trotter, do you want to add anything?
Obviously the note. I think we probably need to refer to the lease
Complies
agreement.
with the lease.
Yeah. You just want to help me with that.
And do you want that to come back to the next council meeting? We'll wait for the next quarter.
Wait for the next quarter. I mean, it'll be if it's March is the AGM, the quarter will be in that.
Yes.
So it'll be April. We'll be seeing the financials.
Yes, April, May. Yeah.
Yeah.
April, usually through the chair, at the time of writing report, it's too early, so it would be just after March, so I'm not sure if they will have the data available in the first week of April. That's when we write the reports actually. So probably the latest would be the May council meeting where it could come.
Okay. I just think we need to start seeing it on a quarterly basis, so I'm happy with that.
Great news is in a quarter they've generated $14,000 just from leasing it out.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's why I figure it through. So the council has confidence agreement. And we're bringing it back at the May meeting?
At the latest.
Yeah, at the latest.
Why don't we bring it back at the next meeting?
Well, you only...
So we actually have an indication of what's happening there.
So I think May will be the next quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than having to pull it out for this quarter.
Because you'll get those figures at the AGM anyway, you'll get the P&L from that. From the May will be the next quarter. I just think it's getting it right and putting it into the right way it's reporting so we get the right information. Yeah.
Okay. Councillor Trotter, would you like to move that? Is there a seconder? Councillor Williams, thank you. Would anyone else like to speak for or against? Okay, otherwise put it to the vote. All those in favour? Tony, will you use your hand up? Yep. Okay, thank you. That's carried. Okay, 16.2. Margaret Street Laneway Title Investigation. James, anything to add?
Through the chair, I guess this is tying up an outstanding resolution on our resolution register. You might recall last year we undertook an investigation to look at what we thought was a council laneway to a potential purchaser, and early on in the process it was identified that that laneway was under a deceased estate and not a public road. So there's some sort of notes on how that has come about and probably what we would do differently next time. And I guess if we do want to look at reopening it as a public road, there is a way to do that under Section 210 of the Local Government Act. But yeah, essentially, as it currently stands, it will be up to the potential purchaser to investigate the owner of that parcel.
Does anyone have questions about this? I have some questions, but I'm happy for anyone else to go first.
Yeah, so just so I can get my head around, so legally, so the owner's not the, like, so
There's a deceased owner.
it's a deceased owner, so it's technically the person who was looking to acquire that land, they don't own it, they're not named to be the owner, so the private laneway just sits there, owned by a deceased owner, and we've got no way of contacting.
There is a process.
So we went through this process with Nottage Lane, where
Yes.
there's a deceased owner, we advertise it, it's a whole process,
Yeah.
no one comes forward, council takes it over, and it's become a public laneway. The difference with this is, it doesn't make sense to make it a public laneway,
No.
because there's a driveway to a house. So,
That is the difference with this one. Sorry, through the chair.
It's very messy, yeah.
Nottage Lane, and under Section 210 of the Local Government Act, talks about if a private road is being used in a way that a public road would be, so multiple accesses like Nottage Lane, if it's sealed, if it looks like a road, etc., then council can undertake or go through a process to vest that for community benefit as a public road. So
But this one is
in this one,
it's not.
as the mayor mentioned, it's a rubble driveway that we've been weed spraying and sort of just generally maintaining, which we weren't doing.
so is there any way of council advertising it, no one comes forward, and then council claims it as a public road, or, but is it actually a public road? It's not really, but then sells it to the next door neighbour?
Through the chair, we probably have to get some advice on that, what that process would look like. Generally, we'll use the Nottage Lane example, that's the most relevant. Generally, you make a public road for community benefit, whether that be drainage or better vehicle access or whatever it may be, improved road network, to acquire a public road to then on-sell that, I guess is a question we'd have to get some advice on.
I just feel like at the moment, I'm just leaving this with loose ends.
Yeah, but the neighbour can take it through all the deceased estates, however many there are, or apply by adverse possession. They've taken possession of it, and after 15 years or something, you can apply for a title for it. So it's up to them. We shouldn't be involved.
They could. They've been there 15 years. They could apply for it.
Okay, so then you just say we more
Yeah.
no longer maintain it, and when the weeds come too much, we just say, well, contact the dead guy.
It's not the comment from the last meeting about the dogs.
Yeah. I just think that the people who we're talking about, they've been in that property for more than 15 years. So, because they've been there longer than I have.
Yeah.
So if that's the process, maybe we show them how to go down that avenue of
Get a lawyer.
get a lawyer.
Yeah.
Sorry, when does the 15 years start?
When they start using it.
Yeah. So when do they start using it? Have they started using it?
Yeah, everyone uses it.
Yeah.
Yeah, are we maintaining it, are they?
We have been, but now we would stop
Yeah.
maintaining it.
Yeah, so I think 15 years would start when we have no interest in it anymore.
Well, we don't have any interest now.
Well, that's a
We've
that's
been
a question
maintaining
for them
it,
to
haven't
work
we?
out.
Oh, it's not interesting.
Yeah, but we're paying, we've expended money. I know council doesn't come around and fix up my driveway.
We're not fixing up this one anymore.
Okay, any other questions then on this? The recommendation is that it's just closed. Okay, is there a mover?
Should we,
Okay.
before we do that, should we write to the, or at least notify the landowner that has started this process of what our findings are?
Through the chair, they are aware of.
They're aware?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Sorry,
fine.
can I just go back on what the mayor was, I mean, you're basically looking for a process to go down to
The council.
generally bring it back to council, should no one take ownership of it or take responsibility for it. So why are we not continuing on with that?
It'll cost money.
It will cost. Okay.
Yeah, it'll cost us money for no tangible use for council, no tangible benefit.
But can't we then sell it?
But we can sell based on a very generous unit rate, square metre rate back to them. So we'd recover that cost plus a little bit more.
Well, not if he's not prepared to pay that amount. He knows that there's no other buyer, so he could offer $1 or so. It's not the final offer.
We can make it enjoy his week.
Maybe the Rotary would like it.
Okay, Councillor Allenson.
Upon moving it, I'd just like to put in an extra line just relating to the council has notified the concerned resident and also notified them that we won't be maintaining their land or that land.
Council will not be.
Will not be maintaining the land.
No longer be.
Yeah.
Can I just ask if
Moved by
they,
Councillor Allenson, Councillor Williams.
I was just going to ask if they have been notified.
Through the chair, they've been notified that the land is in the deceased estate. We will notify them that we won't be maintaining the land.
And also whether whether you need to get in writing.
So, can I ask a question?
In writing.
So this,
In writing, yeah,
yeah,
sure.
how can it
There's no
impact the
afternoon.
community
Yeah,
like
right.
this?
Yeah,
Whether
we're notified.
We in writing
That's
at the end
fine.
of notified the resident in writing. Okay, is there a seconder? Councillor Williams, thank you.
I just,
Councillor Core, do you wish to speak for?
yeah, just
the
need
motion?
to clarify something from council. So I'm just asking if we're gonna move this item and how it can impact the community if it's abandoned, it's not being maintained by the council or any resident or so.
Yeah, through the chair, I guess, looking at the laneway itself, it's more functioning as a private driveway at the moment anyway. So we're saying that it has no greater benefit to the community serving as a road. It doesn't link to it doesn't provide any improved access to another property or multiple properties. It doesn't provide any value essentially to the road network. So that's why proposing not to, which is contrary to a recent example in Medindi where clearly the laneway was of benefit and was required to be opened and vested to council to maintain and look after on behalf of the community. This one, yeah, essentially provides no significant value to the area.
Okay, Councillor Nathan.
Devil's advocate. I mean, I think I'm just more interested in the process now. And I respect they're using this currently, can't they?
My understanding, I mean, I've been watching it that closely, but my understanding, yeah, it's used to park cars.
Yeah, just knowing that council's gone around and issued notices to land owners whose front yards are, weeds and out of control and become fire risks and vermin risks. If we don't maintain it, just devil's advocate in this case scenario, and it becomes unsightly, who do we issue notice to? Deguide it then?
Through the chair, the report tonight's just about closing the sale process. There are valid points around local nuisance. I would have to refer to the regulatory services team around what mechanisms they have. Obviously, they can do things on private land where they can enter. Whether that covers deceased estates or not, I'd have to take on notice. But I would imagine that if it was a safety risk or a significant amenity risk, that we would be able to take appropriate action if it got to that point.
Comes back to us maintaining it anyway.
That is a risk that obviously, through the chair, that if we issue a notice on it, if the notices aren't followed, then we have the power to enforce the notice ourselves, recover costs from the landowner, which does end up us maintaining it.
So that's my point. But eventually we're going to end up paying for the maintenance of this anyway, even though we said we're not going to maintain it. But anyway, look, it's... I know this is just... Yeah, anyway, go on. That's all right.
Okay, so we've got it moved by Councillor Allenson. I think whoever seconds it might just need to tweak that second sentence because it doesn't look right. So if someone would like to...
I will
do
happy to
that.
second it, but it's just grammatically it doesn't make sense. So council's notified the concerned resident and has notified the resident right and the council. So I'm just getting lost with that. It doesn't...
Can you propose something,
yeah,
please?
The council has notified the concerned resident that the matter will be closed and will notify in writing that council will no longer be maintaining the land. There's two parts that just needs to be separated out to state that we've acknowledged that they've been... So council will notify the concerned resident the matter will be closed. No, the council's notified the concerned matter that the matter will be closed and will notify in writing that council will no longer be maintaining the land.
Okay, Councillor Allenson, are you okay with that amendment?
It's much more eloquent, thanks.
Councillor Williams?
Are we better just putting at the start that council notifies, gets rid of has, that council notifies? Because, yeah, we're not, I know administration has said that they have been notified, but...
We can, through the
Is
chair,
that a variation now?
sorry, just more clarity on it. We've notified the land resident of the deceased estate around maintenance. Those discussions have not been had. That was added tonight.
So Councillor Williams, if you want to change the motion, you'll need to do a variation.
No, it was only taking the word it has out and make it notifies.
Just cleaning it up.
Yeah, it's just the same as what Councillor Ripp's just done. It's just cleaning it up. That council notifies.
Yeah.
So changing the D to an S and getting rid of the word has.
Okay, it is a moved motion, so that is what has been moved. So if you want to change it, we need to change it formally through the procedure.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm not really that fussed about changing it, however, it's not grammatically correct.
Yeah. Well, that's what's moved.
Do it.
Okay, I'm going to put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? So it's carried. 16.3, 2025-26 Annual Business Plan, December Quarter Progress Report. I think it's self-explanatory, but if anyone has any questions, please ask. Is there an issue?
No, it's just right. I'll trust.
Okay, is there a mover? Thank you, Councillor Trotter, seconded by Councillor Core. All those in favour? That's carried. Okay, item 16.4, 2026 National General Assembly Notices of Motion.
Moved.
Thank you, Councillor Vanstone, seconded by Councillor Zeppel. All those in favour? That's carried. 16.5 Monthly Financial Report, January 26. Any questions? Going straight to moving. Councillor Allenson has moved. Councillor Williams has seconded. All those in favour? That's carried. Item 16.6 Monthly Works Report, January 26. Any questions? Just moving it. Yeah. Councillor Williams, seconded by Councillor Allenson. No, any questions? All those in favour? That's carried. We have no confidential items, which is item 17, and so that brings us meeting close at 8:49.